first part of Surds, we're going to look at simplifying them. Now, to be able to simplify Surds, the important part is knowing your squared numbers. So if you're wanting to take this down as a note, please pause the video, take as long as you need to copy down the first things, or the first two things, and then press play, and then we can keep going through it. So again, you can pause it just now, and then we'll go through it. Now, what this is saying is, if I've got a square root of something, and that's represented by this part here, what's that saying is, if that something is a product of two numbers, so say 15 is a product of 3 and 5, I can split it up into the square root of 3 and the square root of 5. So all this is essentially saying is I'm allowed to split up my square roots. Now, as I alluded to at the start there, it's useful to know your squared numbers. So if you want, take a note of them just now, because being able to recall these quickly will lead to greater success later on when we're trying to simplify these surds. So let's get into actually simplifying one of them. So what I'm looking to find is I'm looking to find the biggest number out of all of my squared numbers that divides 12. So the biggest number there that divides 12 is 4. So I say that the square root of 12 is the same as the square root of 4. And now 4 times something must get me the 12. Well, it's 4 times 3. So the square root of 12 is the same root as the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. And that's all that I was referring back to at the start in our top corner here. Okay, so 3 and 4 times to get you 12. Okay, that's all that kind of said, but in an algebraic way. So this is it kind of with numbers. Now, the square root of 4 is something that I know. I can do the square root of 4 because that's just going to be 2. And I don't know what the square root of 3 is, so I just leave it as root 3. So what I'm doing there every time is I'm looking to see the highest square factor. Now, the reason why it's a square factor is because I'm only looking for squared numbers. Once I've found it, I split the root into 2, so that was my root 4 and my root 3, and notice that I put the root 4 first. The thing that is the square goes at the front, okay, because that's the thing that we're going to simplify to just a whole number. And then the last bit, just double check to see if you can simplify. Always double check to see if you can simplify these. Right, next one, root 48. Now this is one for you to try, so pause the video, take as long as you need to try this one. Once you've tried it, then press play to see how you get on. So square root of 48, the biggest square number that divides 48 is 16, and that's 16 times 3 will get you 48, so it's root 16, root 3. The square root of 16 is 4, and root 3 can't be simplified because there's not a square number other than 1 that I can divide 3 by. So 4 root 3 is my final answer, and it's fully simplified. Right, let's try another one. I'll give myself a bit more space. So this time, the difference is I've got a number out the front. But to start with, we just leave that alone. And I say, well, that's 4. And root 72 is root 36 times root 2. Now, what that 4 is doing is it's actually multiplying the square root of 72. Or in the next line, it's multiplying root 36 and root 2. So it's timesing both of them. So when I'm going to simplify this, the square root of 36 is 6. Now, we don't need to put the times in the first two lines because we've got that square root symbol. So the multiplication is implied. But now that I've lost that square root sign, or I've simplified root 36 to 6, I need to put the times sign in, or else it will just look like a 46. It wouldn't make sense. So that 4 is actually timesing that 6, which is 24. Now again, there's one on the right-hand side for you to try. Okay, remember putting that multiplication symbol in as soon as you've simplified that surd. So, first one, again, pause the video, take as long as you need to try these, and then press play to see how you get on. So 3, root 32 is root 16, root 2, so that's 3, and multiplication sign in, 3 times 4 times root 2, so that'll be 12 root 2. Now I'm going to show you the questions on the video rather than putting it up as a PDF, so if you want to practice some of these, if you want a mixture, so if this was the only thing you wanted to look at for surds, you can go and try the consolidating learning booklets. However, there are some questions on the screen just now that you can pause and you can attempt as many as you want from here. If you are attempting some from here, please make sure you're trying some from the kind of second root, so here down the way, okay, because these are some of the more trickier ones that it's good to try. And as always, vital that you are marking any work that you are doing, so please make sure that you are checking your answers to see how you get on.